What is up guys, Stark here, back for day 17 of the 25 Days of Fate, and in today's character spotlight I am taking a look at the Archer of Inferno. So the Archer of Inferno is a 4-star archer that came out in the first Shimosa batch, so I am really trying to go ahead and get through all the character spotlights for Shimosa so we can move on to a different batch later on. But overall though, I do think the Archer of Inferno is a pretty cool character. She was one of the more sought after 4-star servants for myself personally. In the previous year, I was very happy to get her. At level 80, she will have 10,804 HP and 9,946 attack. This will rank her 120th overall in HP and 67th overall in attack. Her star absorption is 153, her star generation is 7.9, and her noble phantasm generation on her attacks is 0.87, and on defense it is 3%. So we're going to jump right into her skills here, and she has a pretty cool set of skills where she's able to buff herself as well as buffing the entire team at the same time. So her first skill is going to be the demonic nature of Oni B. This will increase the entire team's attack for 3 turns, as well as increasing her own noble phantasm strength for 3 turns. So this is on a 5-turn charge time at max level, and the percentages are going to be 19% to the entire team's attack for 3 turns, and then 28% increase to her noble phantasm strength for 3 turns. So like I said, this is pretty cool. You're able to buff yourself, but at the same time buff the entire team. So you're not necessarily being completely selfish in the regards, because you're still buffing your team, and you get a little bit of a bonus for yourself as well. Now yeah, her skills are very selfish because the skills are built to work for her, but she does benefit the team at the same time, so it is pretty cool. Her second skill is going to be the Knowledge of Combat B. This will increase her critical star gather rate for 3 turns, and this will also increase the entire team's critical star drop rate for 3 turns. So this is a really good way for the Archer of Inferno to get stars. It's going to be on a 6-turn charge time at max level, and the percentages will be 600% increase to her gather rate for 3 turns, and then a 50% increase to the team's drop rate for stars for 3 turns. So like I said, a good way to get stars onto the Archer of Inferno. Your entire team is going to generate more stars, and then she'll be able to absorb those stars into her attacks to be able to do some more damage. Her third and final skill is going to be the Lineage Excitation. This will apply Guts to herself 1 time over the course of 5 turns, and this will also increase her maximum HP for 5 turns. Now yeah, this one is just a normal self buff for her. It'd be really cool if she would apply Guts to herself 1 time over the course of 5 turns, and then increase the entire team HP for 5 turns, kind of playing into the theme of her skills where she buffs herself once and then she buffs the entire team with the other effect. But you know, it wasn't meant to be on this one, but it is on a 7-turn charge time, which is really low considering the fact that the both effects last for 5 turns. So this is going to be a good way to keep the Archer of Inferno alive a little bit longer. Getting that 3000 HP increase to your max HP at level 10 is going to be really huge, and then also having that Guts to revive you at 2000 HP if you are killed. You know, you do have that 5-turn window where you could get killed and come back from, so that's pretty cool as well. As for her passive, she has 3. The first one is the Magic Resistance B, which will increase her debuff resistance by 17.5%. The second one is the Independent Action A, which will increase her critical strength by 10%. And then finally, she has the Madness Enhancement E, which will increase her Buster Card effectiveness by 2%. So overall, she has a fairly good kit of skills. I do like the fact that it can also increase your ally stats as well as, you know, buffing yourself. The only thing that I really do wish she had would be the ability to increase her critical strength, because her first skill is going to be so selfish on getting herself all these stars. She really needs something to do with them, and not being able to benefit from an increased crit damage, like, it's lacking a little bit there. So obviously you take someone in that can do that for you, and then you solve that problem. But at the same time, it would have been nice for her to have something in her kit. And then she also, you know, that would have been cool to have the max HP across the board instead of just for herself, sticking with her theme of, you know, 1 buff for the team, 1 buff for yourself. Overall though, I think it is a really good kit of skills, so I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. So now let's go ahead and take a look at her command card deck and her Noble Phantasm to get a little bit of a look at her damage potential. So her command card deck consists of 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 buster, and the hit counts are going to be 3 on the quick, 2 on the arts, 2 on the buster, 5 on her extra attack, and 1 on her Noble Phantasm. So her hit counts aren't the best, so you're not really going to get too much star generation there, but again, you don't really need to worry about that because you have your first skill. So you can just bring in someone else that can increase like have really high natural star generation rate, like a Jack the Ripper or something like that, and you'll just get a ton of stars. Her Noble Phantasm generation also isn't going to be that fantastic because of the low hit counts. She can't do Art Brave Chains with only 2 arts cards in her deck, so you will have to find some other way of getting her Noble Phantasm charged. Although it is definitely not awful, it's just kind of average, so you're going to need a little bit of help there to get her Noble Phantasm generated. But she does have 3 Buster cards in her deck if you count her Noble Phantasm, so she can do Buster Brave Chains, and that's going to be really helpful because you want to do a lot of damage with this character. And as for her Noble Phantasm, like I said, it is a Buster one, and it will deal damage to a single enemy, as well as decreasing that enemy's critical rate by 20% for 3 turns. And it will also inflict burn on that enemy for 5 turns. And then if you do overcharge it, you will also inflict spreading fire status to that enemy for 5 turns. And essentially what that does is it will increase the amount of damage that enemy takes from burn. So if you have a bunch of burn stacked on it, it'll multiply that by a percentage based on how much you overcharged it. And it could do some pretty solid damage. I saw a video, if you have 2 Archer of Infernos, you can get like close to 50,000 damage on the burn hit. So that's really cool. It's a really cool combination to use there. So she will also have an upgrade to her Noble Phantasm later on in the future. And this will up the damage for the initial hit for the Noble Phantasm. And it will also increase the duration for your critical rate down to that single enemy from 3 turns to 5 turns. It will also increase the actual burn damage from 1,000 to 2,000 damage. So it's quite a big buff there. Obviously, more damage is always going to be really good. So overall, taking a look at her overall base damage, I am going to give her 4 stars in total damage. She has some pretty good effects there, being able to increase her own attack and her Noble Phantasm strength, and the burn damage can be comboed pretty well into doing some pretty serious damage. But as a standalone character, I am only going to give her 4 stars. I really don't factor in combos into my rankings, so I can't really worry about that burn stacking. I just have to look at it as a whole. She does have the ability to do Buster Brave Chains as well, so she does have some pretty good damage there, but I do wish she had some way to increase her critical strength outside of her passives, just so you can get that little bit of extra damage from all the stars that we are going to be getting on her. And that's also why she's going to get 4 stars in her critical ability. Her first skill is fantastic for this. She's able to increase the generation of the entire team and the absorption rate of herself, but at the same time, without being able to increase your crit damage, having all those stars on that character is going to be a little bit unfortunate. Now, yeah, you're going to be able to crit and do more damage and, get your Noble Phantasm generated, get all those stars and stuff. If you're using her as your damage dealer, you want to have that bonus to crit damage because she's going to get the majority of the stars. And again, like I said, it's really easy to fix. Bring in any character that can increase her critical damage, problem solved, but I don't factor that into the ranking overall. Still though, she does have some really good crit ability, so 4 stars is pretty fair. Her Noble Phantasm will also get 4 stars. It does a pretty good amount of damage, and it has some pretty cool effects as well. And she does have, I believe, the only one in the game that can enhance burn effects, so you can combo her in with a bunch of different characters that can do burn, and do some pretty cool things with that. Her survivability is only going to get 3.5 stars. She does have the 3rd skill, which increases her max HP, and she also does have guts, but she doesn't have any sort of evasion or invincibility, so there are definitely instances in which you can just get hit by a Noble Phantasm and get wiped out, or even if you come back from the guts, you're still going to get hit with the extra attacks, and then you can end up dying anyway. So yeah, 3.5 stars is there. She does have really, really low HP as well. Her versatility will also see her get 3.5 stars. She does have the first 2 effects with AoE buffs, but like I said previously, they are more there just to help her in the long run as opposed to helping the team, because you're getting all those stars generated by your team, but she's just going to gobble them all up. So she's the one who's going to benefit the most from it. And then she also does have her niche as a burn damage dealer, but there aren't really that many characters that work with burn, so you have to pick and choose from a limited pool of who you can use to really maximize her potential. Overall though, that will give her a 3.9 out of 5. I do think she is a really good servant, capable of doing some really good damage. You just have to have the right support characters to bring in to maximize her full potential. So that's it guys, another character spotlight down, and we are steadily moving along here in the 25 Days of Fate. So later today, or earlier today, depending on which video is posted first, I will have the details for the stream, so make sure to check that out. If you did like this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, I have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. So feel free to check those out, as well as the 25 Days of Fate Christmas giveaway I'm running on my channel. That will be linked in the end of the video here, so you guys can click that and go ahead and enter yourself into that contest by commenting on that video and subscribing to my channel. So I will leave you here with Archer of Inferno's Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
ホーグ断片展開私に炎を